Hello, my name is Lauren Carlson. I'm with Vanderhoff Insurance. I'm the account manager for your employee benefits. The purpose of this video is to review the 2015 Benefit Enrollment Guide with you so that you have a clear understanding of the employee benefits being offered by Gottlieb and Associates during the upcoming plan year. So we'll go ahead and get started. As you can see on the cover page here, your upcoming plan year begins April 1st, 2015 and will end March 31st, 2016. Following the cover page is the table of contents, and this is just a quick reference for you to note the information that's going to be provided to you in the guide. Moving on to page 1 and the important rules of participation. Each year, prior to April 1st, you're given the opportunity to review all of your coverage options and make elections for the next coverage plan year. Keep in mind that the changes you elect may be subject to restrictions or requirements imposed by the insurance carriers. The benefit eligibility requirements are outlined here for you in the guide, and your HR director will notify you when you become eligible for benefits, as well as if you become ineligible at any point during the plan year. As a reminder, Gottlieb and Associates has an IRS Section 125 plan in place. This plan allows them to deduct the costs of your health, dental, vision, accident, and cancer benefits on a pre-tax basis. As part of the rules of that Section 125 plan, you'll be locked into your benefit elections and may not make any changes to those elections until the next annual enrollment. That is, unless you have a qualifying event. As noted here in the guide, a qualifying event is a change in employment status or family status, and your benefit change request must be submitted within 30 days of the qualifying event. Otherwise, you have to wait until the next annual enrollment period or until another qualifying event occurs. If you have any questions about these rules, please feel free to contact me at area code 904-296-3390, extension 114. So let's move on to page 2, and we'll begin to dive into the details of the benefit offerings for the upcoming year. Starting out with the primary benefit offering is the group health insurance. As you'll be happy to see, the health benefit plans are renewing exactly as it is with Florida Blue. Even more exciting, and shown on page 3, you'll find that the per pay period deductions are remaining as is as well. Second year in a row with no change, or increase, I should say, to your deduction. With the cost of healthcare continuing to be on the rise, and most employers are passing on those premium increases to their employees, this is really great news. Furthermore, Gottlieb will continue to contribute $26 per month towards your HSA savings account until the end of the upcoming plan year. And in addition, once you've satisfied $812 if you're an employee only, or $1,312 if you're an employee with dependents, Gottlieb will continue to reimburse the remainder of your in-network calendar year deductible under the Florida Blue Group Health Insurance policy. As a reminder, in order to receive your medical reimbursement, you must submit a copy of your Florida Blue EOB to Cindy Walker, the Director of Human Resources. So, in case you've forgotten, these added contributions towards your HSA deductible are not mandated by law, and that the premium contributions made by Gottlieb cover far beyond the minimum percentage required by the insurance companies. Clearly, Gottlieb and Associates, Mike and Mel, care about all of you and your families. They not only want to make sure that you have affordable access to health insurance, but they want to encourage you to receive the medical care that you need by assisting with the majority of you and your family's calendar year deductible. And they certainly deserve a big round of applause and thank you for their generous contributions. But before I move on to the next benefit, here are some key reminders for the group health insurance plan. To maximize your health benefits, you and your family should look to receiving medical services from a participating Blue Options provider. In-network providers cannot charge more than the negotiated allowable amounts as agreed to with Florida Blue. However, the choice is yours. If you choose to see a non-participating provider, not only are the calendar year deductible and coinsurance doubly higher, but you'll be fully responsible to pay any balance billing charges, which will be any charges above Florida Blue's contracted or allowable amounts. As a friendly reminder, as mandated through the Affordable Care Act, your group health insurance plan also covers annual wellness visits at 100% no cost to you for both adults and children. So all covered family members should take advantage of this. Just remember, the plan will only cover this once every 12 months. So you'll need to keep track of the date of the last exam that you had, because if it's even one day sooner than the prior year, you'll be responsible for all the charges. Lastly, for your lab work, an easy way to remember which lab to use is to remember the slogan, Quest is the best. So Quest Diagnostics is the preferred diagnostic laboratory. Okay, moving on to page 4 is the HSA road rules for 2015. Here you will find the 2015 road rules, as I mentioned. Under the HSA contribution limits, you'll note that the maximum contributions for 2015 are going up to $3,350 for a single individual or $6,650 for families. Also, any individuals aged 55 and over can continue to make catch-up contributions for an additional $1,000. And just an important note, when you are looking at your HSA contributions, you'll need to figure in or factor in the amount that Gottlieb contributes to your account, which is $26 a month. If you have any questions concerning limits or figuring out how much you can put in, please feel free to contact me. Also, another important reminder with regard to the HSA account is, in case you're ever audited, it's very important for you to save all of your HSA-related receipts. So every time you go and swipe your debit card to get a prescription or for your office visit, I would set aside a file, put those receipts in there, and then that way if you're audited, you can prove to the IRS that they were used for HSA-qualified expenses. Moving on to page 5 is the life and AD&D insurance offered by Florida Combined Life. Gottlieb and Associates provides all eligible employees and pays 100% of the premiums for a $20,000 life and AD&D policy on each person. However, please take note that there are age reductions starting at age 65 and then again at age 70, and all coverage terminates at retirement. But Gottlieb pays 100% of the cost of this benefit for you. So even if you don't take any other benefit, you will have this one. Moving on to page 6 is the voluntary dental insurance with Florida Combined Life. And as you can see, this plan is renewing as is, no change, as well as no change to the payroll deductions once again. A few key reminders about this plan. Again, like the health insurance, to maximize your benefits, you and your dependents should look to receiving dental care services from a participating Blue Dental Choice provider. And again, the choice is yours. If you choose to see a non-participating dentist, the benefits are the same, but you'll need to be prepared to pay for any balance billing or those charges that Florida Combined, any amounts that are above the Florida Combined's contracted or allowable amounts. For those enrolled, please do not forget that the plan covers 100% of Class 1 diagnostics and preventive services every 6 months. If you are using an out-of-network dentist, so be prepared for potential balance billing. And then finally, a helpful suggestion, if your dentist advises you that you have to have any basic or major services performed, you can ask them to submit a predetermination to Florida Combined Life so that you know ahead of time exactly what the plan will cover, what the estimate of the charges is, and what your responsibility towards those charges will be. Moving on to page 7 is our voluntary vision insurance. This page outlines the benefits for the voluntary vision through Humana. The Humana Vision Plan utilizes the iMed network of providers. Pardon me. The renewal rates from last year have been extended, so your deduction per pay period for the vision is also remaining as is. Some key reminders for the vision plan are, once again, to maximize your benefits, look to receiving vision care services from participating iMed Vision network providers. The choice is yours as always, but under the vision plan, if you choose to see a non-participating provider, you will see that there is very nominal allowances that would be reimbursed to you. In other words, if you go out of network, you pay for everything in advance and then file a claim to be reimbursed up to the amounts shown on the left side of the table. For those enrolled, don't forget that the plan covers an eye exam every 12 months and is subject to a $10 copay in network. As with the health and the dental, you need to keep track of the last date that you had your exam so that you don't go any sooner than 12 months from the previous year. Lenses are also covered once every 12 months based on the date of service, and frames are covered every 2 years. Then moving on to page 8. This page details the information regarding Unum's voluntary long-term disability policy that's been in place for many years. As a reminder, long-term disability provides you with income protection if you should become disabled and are unable to work. In short, once you've been disabled for a period of 90 days, you'll receive 60% of your monthly earnings to a maximum of $5,000 a month. You'll continue to receive these benefits as long as you meet the definition of disability, as well as the parameters listed beside the bullet points here in the guide. If your disability occurs before age 60, your benefits will be payable to age 65. At age 60 or after, a benefit duration schedule applies, which will be listed in the policy certificate. Please take note of the guarantee issue guidelines. If you're newly eligible and applying for coverage within 31 days of your eligibility date, then you don't have to answer any health questions. However, if you have been with Gottlieb beyond 31 days and you wish to apply for the long-term disability now, you'll be required to complete an evidence of insurability form and will be subject to underwriting approval. That being said, there is a possibility that you could be declined, so I want you to keep that in mind. The next several pages of the benefit guide, starting with page 9, and going through page 13, will cover all of the new voluntary supplemental products that we're bringing in with Colonial Life. Understand that these products are totally replacing the ones that were provided with American Fidelity. If you currently have any American Fidelity products, I want you to be on the lookout for notification from them via mail at your home with an offer to extend or keep the products you have in place. If you choose to do this, you will have to make arrangements to pay them directly. There is not an option for you to continue any of the American Fidelity products through payroll deduction after April 1st. Starting on page 9, outlined is the new voluntary life and AD&D insurance with Colonial Life. This is not only replacing the current voluntary life and AD&D through American Fidelity, but it is also replacing the voluntary life and AD&D through Unum. The coverage options and amounts for you, your spouse, and or your children are outlined here in the guide, and as before, there is an age reduction schedule that applies. The most important detail to understand is that the guarantee issue limits listed will apply to all eligible employees, old and new, with this year's enrollment. In insurance terminology, it's referred to as a true open enrollment, but in layman's terms, this means that this will be your one and only chance to enroll for these benefits up to the guarantee issue limits with no health questions asked. The guarantee issue limits shown are $150,000 for employee, $25,000 for spouse, and $10,000 for children. This applies to this product as well as all the Colonial Life products that we're going to address since they're being newly introduced and offered during this plan year. Okay. Moving on to page 10 is the new voluntary short-term disability being offered by Colonial Life. The disability policy complements and coincides with the voluntary long-term disability through Unum. Beginning on the 8th day of a disability for an accident or an illness, you'll receive 60% of your weekly salary. The maximum duration for the STD benefits is 13 weeks. If you continue to be disabled at the end of the 13 weeks and you have the Unum long-term disability policy, then you could file a claim with Unum for your monthly LTD to begin at the end of the STD. Once again, the guarantee issue applies with this year's open enrollment, and this is your one and only chance to enroll for this very, very important benefit with no questions asked. The only other people that will get this benefit with no questions asked are new hires, and as long as it's within their 31-day eligibility period. If you were not previously covered for short-term disability with American Fidelity, then you will be subject to the pre-existing condition limitation for any pre-existing conditions. The definition of a pre-existing condition is listed here in the guide. If you were covered with American Fidelity for short-term disability for a period of more than 12 months, then you will not have any pre-existing condition limitations. If you were covered for short-term disability with American Fidelity for less than 12 months, then you will be given credit for the amount of time that you had that policy. So for instance, if you had American Fidelity STD policy for 9 months, once you had the Colonial Life short-term disability policy for 3 additional months, then all pre-acts would be waived at the end of that time. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to contact me. If you were not previously covered by American Fidelity for the short-term disability, then you'll be subject to the pre-existing conditions, which is 12-month period. At the end of 12 months, any pre-existing condition limitations that you, or pre-existing conditions that you have, should you go out on disability, would be covered at that time. Moving on to page 11 and 12. As previously offered by American Fidelity, we have 2 new voluntary cancer plan options for you to consider for yourself and your family with Colonial Life. A brief outline of the scheduled benefits is included here in the guide, and if you elect to enroll for one of these cancer plan options, you'll be provided with a policy certificate, which will include the full schedule of benefits for your reference. One feature that I'd like to point out, though, is a cancer screening benefit that's included in both of the options. Basically, this benefit will be paid annually to each covered family member upon completion of a covered cancer screening. The high plan reimburses $100 per covered member, and the low plan option reimburses $75 per covered member. Again, the guarantee issue applies with this year's open enrollment, so remember, now is the time to enroll for these cancer plan options for you and your family with no health questions. If you were not previously covered for cancer with American Fidelity, then you will be subject to the pre-existing condition limitation for any pre-existing conditions. If you were covered for a period of less than 6 months, then you'll be given credit for the period of time served. In other words, if you had the cancer policy for 7 months with American Fidelity, you have no pre-existing with the cancer benefits with Colonial because you've already satisfied the 6 months. If you had the cancer policy for 3 months with American Fidelity, you would be given 3 months credit, have the policy for 3 more months, and then after that time, all pre-existing is waived. And here you see the 2 different plan options and the cost. Moving on to page 13 is the new accident plan offering. In the guide is a brief outline of the schedule of benefits. And should you elect to enroll for this product, you will be provided with a policy certificate, which will include the full schedule of benefits for your reference. Take note that Colonial Life's accident plan will pay you and your covered dependents benefits for injuries received in accidents either on or off the job. A given feature of this policy is also a $50 wellness benefit, which will be paid once a year for covered wellness exams per covered family member. As with all Colonial Life products being introduced, the guarantee issue applies with this year's open enrollment, so now is the time to enroll with no health questions asked. Moving on to page 14 is an illustration of pre-taxing, which I referred to in the beginning, or the section 125, and it shows the reason why the company does it. Moving on to page 15 is general information on your federal COBRA rights. And then finally on page 16, this booklet has been prepared as a guide to assist you in evaluating coverages and making benefit elections. Benefit descriptions and explanations of rules are presented in summary form for your convenience and are not to be construed as legally binding. This is not a contract, nor is it a summary plan description. You will receive a summary plan description directly from the insurance carrier for each coverage you elected. If there is uncertainty as to the provisions of any coverage, the actual contract with our insurance carrier will govern. Down below, you will find the contact information. And please, any questions, any concerns at this time, at any time during the plan year, I would urge you to call me or email me. The information is there on the back of the guide. I am your main contact. If I'm not available or I'm out of the office, you can feel free to contact Melissa Coyne, who is the group's agent. But again, I thank you for taking the time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.